Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the Pokemon that I was mostly excited for this season, which I also said already in some videos beforehand, which is going to be the Raichu. Not the Alolan version, even though the Alolan version has a better ranking right now. Primeape doesn't really have the correct moveset in my opinion. For the normal variant they have a Brick Break on it, and Brick Break just doesn't really make sense in my opinion. Like, the Brick Break is a move that basically doesn't do damage but drops the opponent's defense. It's quite cheap, but at the end of the day, if you even take a look at Primeape, you have a way higher win rate if you're going to go for the Trailblaze compared to Brick Break for the normal variant. So I feel like Primeape kind of made a little bit of a mistake there, which is fine. As you go see as well, we're going to have a team with the elite of Driftler. We're going to have the Say-Swap of Primeape, and we're going to have in the back here our Raichu to try to sweep endgame with moves like Trailblaze and Wild Charge doing either damage or getting a ton of boost on your own attack, which is going to be great. And now with the Thunder Shock, which got buffed, this Pokemon does also a little bit of fast move pressure while generating more energy compared to the Volt Switch. Volt Switch was currently before that ideal on this Pokemon. Actually showcased Raichu quite often on this team, like on the channel as well already. It was always a lot of fun, and it still is one of the coolest Pokemon and most underrated Pokemon in my opinion. I still wish that this Pokemon would have a little bit of different kind of coverage, like Raichu as like one of the main Pokemon from just generally Pokemon. Here, by the way, I actually want to take a look at this one real quick on the side. I want to see how much a Wild Charge would do if I would have been able to knock them out there. But yeah, Raichu is one of the most important Pokemon in the franchise. I wish it had a little bit of more interesting coverage, I would say. Well, Brick Break, Skullbash, and Trailblaze is very interesting for coverage. I feel like something like a Surf variant or whatever, which it does learn as well, would be kind of cool, at least for like special events. But yeah, a Wild Charge against the Azumarill does 61%, so we would have not been able to knock them out there beforehand, so we needed to get some more fast move pressure in first. So that was a good decision to not go for the charge move straight away. In comes now the Bibarel from the opponent, allowing us to go for an Ice Unit to drop the opponent's attack a little bit, allowing me now to also go ahead and go into the Primeape, which will give us the opportunity here now to go for the full farm down. I might just go for the Rage Fist just to boost my own attack up. And yes, we're running Ice Punch here on our Primeape. Just have a little bit of a different coverage. I want to see if this was worth it or not. And in the end of the day, I would say it was not. I would rather have close combat on this Pokemon instead of Ice Punch, I have to say. There would have been some Pokemon where it would have been nice to have Ice Punch as well, but you rarely really needed it, where Rage Fist also did enough damage basically. And here we're going to be able to win the second battle. Every single battle I did with this team, which are 12 in total, are going to be in this video as well. And here we will see a big issue for this team. It's going to be, of course, the Wigglytuff lead. A Wigglytuff lead is basically impossible to win, but trust me, there's going to be a battle later on against Wigglytuff again, which is going to be a bit better than this one. Here, of course, we have literally the worst matchup that we could imagine. We're going to have a Wigglytuff in the lead, which is going to double resist our fast moves from the lead, as well as we're going to have, the Marowak in the back, which is going to be able to destroy our Raichu there. So, like, there was nothing that I can really do in this matchup here. Those are going to happen as well. Sometimes we just get completely hard-walled. And this team here is basically impossible to win for me. It's going to be the Gaston in the back as well. We're just going to get completely hard-walled. I'm still going to try my best here just to see on how much damage an Ice Unit actually going to do here. It is not even enough to get them below half health. And so this is going to be game over. And we can just move on to the next opponent here. Next opponent, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to have Drifblim against the Dragonite, a matchup that we're going to win in the one-shield scenario, just fully farming them down here, which is going to be great for us as well. As you can see here, 4 fast moves is enough to knock them into the yellow health, and we will be able to go for the full farm down here. And again, we would have had Ice Unit to do super effective damage, or the Ice Punch as well on our Say-Swap. But it was the best play in my opinion, just go for the full farm down, take that lead of energy now for the Drifblim for later on, and try my best here with the Primeape. And what we're going to see as well is I'm going to use a shield here against the opponent's Lanturn, because I feel like I have the potential to pressure both shields here with my Primeape, but they actually decided to swap out into their own Primeape. But we had +1, the opponent is still at 0, and so we can go for one charge move here, we can go for another Rage Fist as well, forcing them maybe to use even another shield here, because we're at +2 there, and we can even swap out, get the Shadow Ball off the opponent, knock them out here. Well, they had so much energy, we're going to be able to now align our Raichu, and one Trailblaze should be enough to knock out the opponent's Lanturn, boosting our attack as well. But of course, it's going to be a super effective grass type move, and they actually still survive, but one Thunder Shock is going to be enough. As you can see as well, we went to 4-1 in this set, and we can move on now to the next game. There's actually one game missing from the set, but again, every single battle is going to be in here today. We're going to have the Sandslash coming in for the opponent, which is going to be very, very difficult for our lead, and we decided to swap out to the Raichu. Here's the thing with this team, you can actually kind of swap out sometimes also into the Raichu. It's not as, it's like always going to be the same of the Primeape. Primeape is the main save swap, but Raichu makes a lot of sense if the lead is going to be very weak to fighting type moves, like in this case the Alone Sandslash doesn't appreciate any kind of fighting type moves, and here as you can see as well, we're going to have a very nice position where you're going to be able to get a ton of energy against the opponents for Relegator. And they actually make a mistake in my opinion, they decide to use a shield here, which allows us now to put them basically into farm down range while they don't get to another move, while I can overfarm a lot and get to a lot of energy against the opponent. Let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be the Moltres. We can go for a buffed Ice Punch. Close comment, would have done basically the same amount of damage or even more to be fair. And we're going to be able to win the battle now by going for one more Rage Fist. They still have the Sandslash in the back, but I can catch the move here onto my Drifblim. They're still forced to go for another charge move afterwards because we are too bulky. And so, yeah, this is going to be a very good game. You hear it maybe as well a little bit in my voice. I'm a bit sick right now, but it's nothing crazy. So let's take a look here at the next opponent. We're going to have the Talonflame against us in the lead. My ideal play here is just to go for 6 fast moves because usually they go straight for the Flame Charge or Fly, and then you're going to get a free Astonish in, which is actually quite huge because this allows you to do quite a lot more damage. And put them now into farm down range for yourself, which is going to be great as well. We decided to use a shield here. And what we can do as well, after the Flame Charge, I can go for 2 fast moves and get up to 1, Shadow Ball and now swap out. Maybe I could have also just went for 1 fast move to be fair. I think maybe would have been the better play. In comes now the Chestnut. Chestnut is going to be a Pokemon where you're going to be able to go ahead and go for the big Ice Punch. Do some solid damage here. Again, close combat would have most likely done similar amounts of damage, but that is going to be fine here for us. They're going to go for the Frenzy Plant to knock us out. And we have to kind of go ahead and go into our Raichu now as I swap out into the Machamp. I can go for the Trailblaze, boosting my own attack and very likely forcing the shield from the opponent. And now I can go for the punishing play here of going for the Shadow Ball against the opponent. But we're still going to have, sadly, the opponent's final Pokemon left. And I make a big mistake, actually. I went for 1 extra fast move here with my Raichu. And this is actually going to cost me the game here because I am going to be able to store a superpower, but if I had a little bit more HP, I would have been able to actually knock them out. But here we just had a simultaneously KO there. Next opponent, we're going to have a Diggersby in the lead. That's going to be a very good matchup for us. In comes the Wigglytuff, and I promise you that we're going to have some revenge for this thing here today. We're going to have the Icy Wind coming through against somebody again, a Liner or a Raichu. While they do less damage with their fast move, I can still use a shield here because what I can do is I can overfarm by quite a bit and get up basically to 2 Trailblazers and boost my own attack and do a lot of damage against the opponent if they're coming back into the Diggersby as well. While also having enough energy to most likely get to 2 of them, allowing us then to get a shield back from the opponent. And so again here, while we have an electric type Pokemon, thanks to Trailblaze, which is way better than Brick Break, we're going to be able to even get the shield here from the opponent. And I actually was saving my Raichu. Why did I do this? There is a team that is called Diggersby Double Charm, and I was expecting exactly this. And so I was trying to play around it, trying to get the opponent now to use a shield as well, which they didn't, which is going to be a little bit awkward. But I still have at least my Raichu here, and I go ahead and go for the big hard-hitting move with a Wild Charge, forcing the opponent to use a shield here, but we are still in a very bad place here. The opponent is going to have a charge move stored now as well, but they don't go for it, allowing me to go for a Raichu. If this KOs, we are in a great spot, and it does KO, and this is going to allow us now to boost our own attack, but we still have to deal with the opponent's Diggersby here, and as we will see, we decide to let the move go through, and it is the Fire Punch, which is going to be great for us because we still survive. We can go for the Ice Punch. Again, close combat would have knocked them out here at this range, so it didn't really help that we have the Ice Punch coverage here. And as you can see, we still can go for a Rage Fist, knocking them out, and we can move on to the next opponent. Drifblim against Morpeko. Horrible lead for us. And in this case, you kind of want to swap out again into the Raichu because for the Morpeko, you kind of want to have the Primeape still later on. We can let the move go through here, and our wheel doesn't really do a lot of damage. Psychic Fangs doesn't really do a lot of damage. And I swap out into the Jumpluff, which is actually really good for me because it will allow me to get either the alignment or the shield advantage, and I will take either of them. As we will see as well, CMP type on the Wild Charge is going to be lovely. This will allow us to get the shield from the opponent. They can go for the knockout here. I don't really care. Raichu did its job, did a lot of damage, and did get basically the shield advantage as well at the same time, while also taking basically 2 hits from the opponent, which is really, really nice. So In comes Arrowlace. We're gonna be able to go for the full farm down. I want to swap out here straight away into the Primeape against the opponent's Morpeko. I'm forced to use a shield here. Aurora would knock us out. Psychic Fangs does a lot of damage. And we have to hope there's something in the back that we can deal with. It's going to be a Zoomerall. And this is going to be a bit of a tough one. But Primeape, as even in the non-Shadow variant, is going to be so insanely overpowered with a Rage Fist. Like, look at this. We have another Rage Fist stored here. You're going to be able to do a ton of damage against the opponent. And we are going to see that we get the free fast move in. I can use a shield here again. It is going to be the Ice Beam. I can go for another Rage Fist. And I think I would even outspeed the next time as well there again. And so the opponent decides to let the move go through, allowing us to go for the full farm down anyway here. I can go for another Rage Fist because I have that move stored still on my, what's called Driftblim. And they let the move go through and literally just Primeape stop the entire team there. Next opponent, let's take a look at this one. We're going to have here the Drapion against us here, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. Drapion is going to have access to the move Awkward Tail here, doing some solid damage against us, as we will see again, the Azumarill swapping into us this time around. We know we have enough health to really take those hits, so that's going to be a bit of an awkward one for us. We will be able to go for another Raichu though, boosting our own attack up again, and we should be able to reach another one in time as well, which is going to do some solid damage, but doesn't put them into range yet where we can fully farm them down. So yeah, we're gonna be going into our Driftblim, and I will try to fully farm them down afterwards with our own Raichu, hoping that we get the farm done before they can go for another charge move, but I cannot, and this is really, really bad for us, because now the opponent is going to be able to go for an Ice Beam, kind of damaging me, and they're gonna go into the Drapion, kind of showing that they're very likely going to be weak to a Raichu in the back, especially as I decide to use a shield here now. And so, if we didn't get the Ice Beam on us, we would have been in such a great spot. But because of that Ice Beam, we're in a spot where we're gonna be kind of forced to hope that Driftblim has some play still. We have to see what they're going to have on the back, but as we will see as well, the opponent decides to go for a charge move. It's going to be the Awkward Tail coming through. We try our best here to go for another charge move here as well. Wild Charge is going to be able to connect. I think Trailblaze maybe would have been enough as well after the double boost here at this range. But as you will see, it is going to be the duo in the back. If we did get the Ice Beam off, we would have been easily able to win the battle. But this was very close and we can move on to the next opponent. The next battle here kind of annoyed me a little bit though. We have basically a pretty bad lead for us. We're going to be able to swap out though into our Raichu, which can resist the Thunder Fang from the Steelix. But here's one issue. The opponent is going to be able to go for Psychic Fangs. All totally fine for me. But yeah, you're going to see it here very, very soon, which is kind of annoying, which is totally fine though. Like, I'm not going to complain about like the game or whatever, but like it is kind of unfortunate for us. That's all I want to say about it. Trailblaze is going to put them into range, another one going to knock them out. A Psychic Fangs we would easily survive. It's going to be a crunch. And they're gonna get this defense drop. This defense drop here allowed them to survive the, or like basically knock me out before I can go for one Trailblaze, and this completely changes the entire matchup, because either I have now a shield advantage or I have switch advantage. Both of which would have been perfect for me, because both of which would allow me to win the battle basically instantaneously here, especially a switch advantage would have. And that is really, really bad for me, because now I have not really anything to be doing here. I still try my best, but it's going to be a very, very tough one. They decide to completely undercharge this Hydro Cannon a little bit too much, to be fair. And this allows me to at least get another Ice Rune against them, but it is going to be an uphill battle at this point. Let's see here, Ice Rune is going to come through. We're going to get some damage onto them. And now it's going to be a Rage Fist spam game here, basically. But I have to also hope that they decide to go for an Ice Beam against us instead of going for a Play Rough, which does not make sense for the opponent to do, but this is my only way of winning this battle, because as you can see, the opponent still has 2 shields left. And so I'm forced to let the move go through. It is going to be a Play Rough, well played, but also unfortunately with the crunch debuff, 30% chance to lose the battle. Moving on down to the next opponent. We don't have a great lead here with the Germnaa against us. This is going to be totally fine. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for the full farm down here, basically. But they have Water Pulse, and Water Pulse makes this a little bit of an awkward one, because now we're going to be forced to go for a charge move instead of fully farming them down, but at least we're still going to have some energy left, and this energy is going to be great against the opponent's War Ray, getting us into a position here, basically, where the opponent does not really have anything to be doing. We're going to see here the DSP coming in, and they decide to forfeit. And another Gastron is coming up next, which is going to be great, and they swap onto the low kicks. Totally fine for me. But also a well-designed team here from the opponent. What we will see here is quite an interesting one. We see Low Kicks as a safe swap, which is a Pokemon that, to be fair, I have to kind of make a video about Low Kicks. Like, Low Kicks is literally one of my channel memes here of being like my nemesis. And again, it's going to be able to get a shield advantage against us, which is not ideal. But also, it's going to allow them to kind of align themselves perfectly. Of course, it's going to be a little bit of an annoying one here, which you don't even understand yet, but you're going to see later on. The opponent has a very interesting strategy. I would have nearly even been able to go for another charge move here, which would have been great, because I either got the shield or would have got the, knockout there, and would have just had the Lord being completely in, Icy Wind range, basically, to get the debuff the entire time onto them. But what we're going to see as well, of course, is the Lord in the back. And so they use low kicks to bait out the opponents, or like in this case, my case, the fighting type Pokemon that we have. And kind of cleared the way now for Lord, which is a very, very smart play. Like, definitely very, very smart. And I have sadly nothing to hit the opponent here. Even if we had Brick Break for like the memes again, Brick Break would have not really helped us out here either. I knew that the opponent would swap out of here. I definitely knew this, but I had no play. Like, my switch clock was unaligned because we went for the Icy Wind first. And so I just have to hope that I can still go for the Icy Wind here. We wouldn't be able to, we would have mostly not knocked them out there with it either. Lord is quite bulky. And so it's going to be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Team was a lot of fun. The Raichu definitely a lot of fun as well. Not the meta for Raichu though. Like, there are too many match stub users currently. It's a bit tricky to run it, but that's going to be it. See you then. Bye bye.